What's up, Mavericks? If you're a property owner, you may be able to take advantage of accelerated depreciation through cost segregation. To do that, though, you'll have to perform a cost segregation study. So what is a cost segregation study and how does it work? Who can perform a cost segregation study and how much will it cost? In this video, we'll answer those questions and more, so keep watching for everything you need to know about cost segregation studies. A cost segregation study is used to analyze and categorize assets that can be depreciated on an accelerated schedule. Typically, commercial properties are depreciated over a 39-year period, while residential investment properties like apartment buildings and short-term vacation rentals are depreciated over 27.5 years. A cost segregation study identifies and allocates assets into 4 classes: buildings, land assets, land improvements, and personal property. These building components with a shorter usual life can be depreciated on an accelerated schedule of 5 to 15 years. This accelerated depreciation is written off on your federal tax return, resulting in immediate tax benefits and a boost in cash flow. If you didn't do a cost segregation study the year the property was placed in service, a cost segregation look-back study allows you to retroactively claim accelerated depreciation on your prior year's tax returns. These depreciation adjustments can be claimed by filing IRS Form 3115, application for change in accounting method, and do not require an amended tax return. Not all property owners will qualify for cost segregation, though. Before investing your time and money, make sure you meet the basic requirements. You may qualify if you have purchased, built, or upgraded a commercial or investment property. This includes retail stores, shopping centers, office buildings, warehouses, entertainment venues, manufacturing facilities, apartment buildings, and residential properties not used as your primary residence. There are generally 4 steps to completing a cost segregation study, starting with a feasibility analysis. During the feasibility analysis, the property is evaluated and specific components are analyzed to determine if the property is a good candidate for cost segregation. If you're working with a cost segregation company, you'll also receive an estimate of tax benefits and an estimate of fees for conducting the study. The next step is to gather information and documentation that is used to conduct the study itself. Initially, this may include things like property maps, appraisals, land records, and blueprints. Further along in the process, you may need to gather additional documentation such as purchase agreements, vendor invoices, closing documents, and final project costs. Next up, the property is analyzed. This is when specific components of the property are sorted into 4 categories to determine which qualifies for accelerated depreciation. The final step is the creation of a written report. This report not only includes the results of the study, but may also include the study methodology, a categorized list of assets, and tax laws that back up the categorization of these assets. If you plan on hiring a company to do your cost seg study, just know that these studies aren't cheap. However, the substantial tax benefits you see from cost segregation is generally worth the upfront expense. In general, cost segregation studies cost anywhere from $5,000 to upwards of $15,000. Several factors influence this cost, including the type and size of the building, the number of tenants in the building, physical characteristics of the property, and your specific tax situation. In addition to the cost of a cost segregation study, you also need to consider the time it takes to complete the study. Several factors impact how long the study will take. A cost segregation study typically takes between 30 to 60 days to complete, although this timeline can be affected by the type of property, the size of the property, and how quickly you can gather the required information and documentation to complete the study. If you decide to move forward with cost segregation, there are 2 ways to complete the study. Go the do-it-yourself route or hire a cost segregation team to do the study for you. It is possible to do a cost segregation study yourself, and you may save money on upfront costs. However, there are several reasons why you want to reconsider this tactic. For your cost segregation study, you will need to choose an approach and substantiate all asset classifications and deductions. You may also need to record your methodology and the sources of cost data depending on the approach used. All of this adds up to more work for you and a significant time investment. Unless you're well versed in tax law, understanding IRS guidelines for cost segregation can be confusing. It's very easy to overlook important rules that impact the results of your study. Not understanding cost segregation guidelines can lead to errors Even a simple calculation error can lead to hefty penalties from the IRS. For these reasons, we recommend hiring a reputable cost segregation company. These companies use a team of professionals like CPAs, engineers, tax experts, contractors, and appraisers to complete timely and accurate cost segregation studies. Cost segregation companies understand IRS guidelines, can help you maximize tax deductions, and can reduce the risk of errors when filing your tax return. And most cost segregation companies offer a free feasibility analysis, giving you a risk-free way to determine if this strategy is right for you. If you want to use cost segregation as a tax deferral strategy, you have to start with a cost segregation study. Whether you make a go at it yourself or hire a cost segregation company, we encourage you to do your research, weigh out the pros and cons, and at the very least, get a free feasibility study to determine if your property is a good candidate for cost segregation. We invite you to check out our other cost segregation and tax content at merchantmaverick.com. And if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more of our small business content. Be sure to drop any questions or comments down below, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.